We're going to be focusing on the new vehicles coming out in the modern day world, specifically the amount of tech and lack of quality that everything seems to have. And we even have manufacturers purposely making these vehicles near impossible to repair. 300 or 400,000 miles on the odometer is just out of the question anymore, and I think we're starting to see the beginning of people changing their sentiment towards buying new vehicles. So hopefully at least something begins to change. But let's just start off with what they're making these cars out of now.
I know cars are getting cheaper and cheaper. This is a Ford with a 3.5 liter in it. That's the water pump down there, and that's plastic. This is a plastic water pump. Basically, any accessory on this engine is just plastic. And if you could tell, it already has a coolant leak. So that's just great. Building it with real quality now.
Now, this wouldn't be that egregious if any of these cars were reasonably priced, but they're not. We're seeing Wranglers at $60,000. Same thing with the Ford vehicles. And if you're talking about pickup trucks in general right now, you could get into the six figures if you want an F250 or a 350, all while they are covered with plastic parts. And that's not the only problem. We're seeing these cars shut down and have problems earlier and earlier into their life.
A new truck is blown up.
I keep seeing these videos of all these new cars with engine failures, and it's just shocking to me. This one actually made it to 10,000 miles. I mean, 10,000 miles. What more can you ask out of a new car than to get 10,000 miles out of it?
I know that those types of clips are meant to poke fun, but you're hoping for 100,000, maybe 50,000 miles, but it's extremely rare to find somewhat modern vehicles hitting the 250 or 300,000 mile mark. Now, you could still get that with some older vehicles with the proper maintenance. The funny part is that all those older vehicles went through depreciation, so they're relatively cheap compared to the brand new MSRP for any of the new cars that we saw, any of the GMC pickup trucks. The Yukons were talking like $80,000. And the main argument for the high price tags is the new tech in it. Everything's electronic, it's got the iPad screens everywhere, and all the extra assistance that wasn't around a couple decades ago. And then you start seeing clips like this.
This is why I hate new cars. I go to reverse. Warning, 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 shift to park because there's a pole in front of me because they parked as close to the pole as possible. Look what it does when I go to put it in reverse. It automatically parks itself. Reverse. Go off the park. It parks itself. How I can't move the car because it's parking itself because of the light pole. Because of a sensor. This is stupid.
So that guy has just stepped there because it thinks that it's about to crash into something. We could look at a couple of comments. If you're in reverse, why does it care what's in front of you? Wife's car occasionally slams into park while reversing because it detects the driveway. Nice. And I wish I could say that this is just one-off clips, not very common, but I probably could have made an entire video of just very weird electronic malfunctions or the sensors in the car messing up. We might have crossed the line into having too much electronics, too much tech in these cars, because the bugs that are coming out are absolutely insane.
Watch what happens when I try to start it. Same thing. Full accessory power active. Okay, now watch. I'm gonna turn it off again. Because there is actually a way to get it to start. Would you like to see how? It was so cute, like a month ago. Okay, we're gonna auto start it. And she kicks on. Yay, right? Start. She stays on. Cool, cool, cool. Love that. Fantastic. You can hear the engine. Okay. But then as soon as I put it into drive, I hate it here.
Definitely something wrong with the computer system. Another one. If it's a hybrid, maybe a low cell, an HV battery would advise to disconnect the battery and reconnect it after a night. I like how it's basically the same advice if your internet stopped working and you call your ISP and they're like, have you tried disconnecting it and reconnecting it again? But now you've got to do it with your car, I guess. My husband always says to never buy the newest model because there's always glitches and hiccups, and you don't want to be the sucker who gets a glitch or hiccup model from the newest batch. Now, all while they want you to pay $50,000 to $60,000, the base model of a new Explorer is $41,000, and then the ST starts at $55,000. So you could probably get over $60,000.
Go. Auto park disabled. SOS unavailable. Service the airbag system. What else? There's got to be more. Park sense unavailable. Service required. Parking brakes unavailable. Oh, and we have no power steering.
I know a lot of people think it's insane to get a new car right now because of all these issues, and why are people still going to the dealership and paying for this? And we have a comment. My wife and I just bought a car last week. The salesman didn't even want to mention the price. He only wanted to talk about how low our payment would be. He was happy to push the loan term out to 60, 72, 84 months just to get the payments down until we were comfortable. Just ignore the fact that you're going to be paying for this for 6, 7, 8 years. He was taken aback and almost confused when I started negotiating the full price and said I didn't care what the payment was as long as I got a good deal. But that is the perfect tactic to push these cars on people. We're seeing others pay $1,000 or $1,200 a month, insane prices still in 2025. Ignore the fact that you're going to be paying this off for years longer than you should. Some people will still pull the trigger and buy and unfortunately get burned. I mean, what's going on with some of these manufacturers?
Crawled under my Chevy 2500 ZR2 to replace the fuel filter today. This is what 15,000 miles look like on a 2024 Chevy 2500 ZR2 look like. This is 15,000 miles in.
Late December, my husband and I bought a car. I loved it. I was so excited about it. It was a 3-row Jeep Wagoneer. And eventually, we were driving it home, and it died. The electrical just died while we were driving it. That's weird. My husband had to restart it while we were driving it on the freeway. We pick up our kids. We drive home from picking up our kids. It dies 2 more times.
This is my friendly reminder for y'all that if you're considering buying a Hyundai, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So I bought the 2024 Santa Fe. I think a lot of you have heard the saga by now. I bought it in May. The transmission went out in October. It has been at Hyundai undrivable since October 14th.
I'm just going to cut it off here. We could probably have 10 more stories similar to this. The first woman with the Wagoneer, I believe it died 6 or 7 times in total, all while being an $80,000 vehicle. We have a comment looking at buying a 2010 Civic to replace my 2003 Civic. Never been so excited. I do know that that's a huge solution right now, buying older vehicles in their 20s. Even though they don't look flashy at all, they're much more reliable compared to anything new. Even if they do start breaking down, the maintenance is much cheaper. However, what happens if the exact same thing that's happening in 2025 happens for the next 10, 15, 20 years? Still terrible vehicles coming out, nothing's reliable, it's just getting more and more expensive. The vehicles that came out in 2010 are starting to disappear because no matter what, they still do have a shelf life, even if we're talking 2, 3, 400,000 miles. So there will come a point that the 2010 or the 2003 Civic won't be an option anymore. And we can look at one of the comments here, and I know that this is another solution that so many people are talking about right now, which I don't disagree with. This is why I purchased the Toyota 4Runner and my wife a Lexus GX. My 4Runner doesn't have any sensors, and the GX is very low tech. I even changed the oil myself. So specifically, Honda and Toyota products are overall more reliable than most of the manufacturers we're seeing today. It doesn't completely rule them out for having problems right now. They definitely do have some, but both Honda and Toyota know the popularity they have. Do you see the new MSRP for the 4Runner or the Land Cruiser or the GX 550 or the Acura MDX? Very, very expensive vehicles now. So maybe the next step for people is, hey, I'll buy a used one 4 or 5 years old. You go looking up online and they barely depreciate. The MSRP for a 4Runner TRD Pro was around $55,000 brand new, and you could look up online right now with 50 or 60,000 miles, a couple years old, a 2020-ish model will be $50,000. And that goes for many of the Honda and Toyota products across the board. Here we have a quick clip that's not specifically the car's fault, but adding into it. Maybe there's a little too much tech in our world.
Tell me why my GPS say that I'm 36 minutes away from work and that I work at the casino. First of all, stay out my business. Second of all, I gotta do better. I'm ashamed.
So right off the bat, probably not the best if your iPhone thinks that you work at the casino. If you're going there that often, probably a gambling problem. But now, if you connect your phone to your car at a certain time of day, it automatically thinks you're going to work, won't even ask you, just plugs in and starts going right away. Why does everything have to be automated and track you nonstop? We've seen articles previously come out that these modern cars do track you through GPS, sell your data to your insurance company so they could raise the premium if they don't like the way that you drive, the way that you brake. And it's not even just for the people who are speeding. Going way faster than you should be if somebody jumps out and cuts you off and you slam on the brakes. All it shows in the data is that you're a bad driver. You slammed on your brakes, and enough of those ticks on your profile will raise your insurance even higher than it already is. We're basically living in a dystopian world. Tell me what you think. Thank you for your attention, and have a nice day.